What up? Tilted Frank the tilted Frank. What's good, guys? Shit. Is it sad that we don't have Thursday night football anymore? Like, this is gonna be maybe the last primetime stream. It's another fucking awful game. I don't know what it is, man. Like, I do understand that when the NFL like creates their schedule, like they're just creating games based off what they think is gonna be hype. Cool, right? Obviously, tonight is another one. I mean, obviously they think, okay, Joe Burrow, he'll be active, he's gonna be healthy, gonna get against his Steeler team. It's gonna be a good game, but here we are, right? We got Finley starting for the Bengals. Burrow's been out for weeks. If you thought last night's game was fucking atrocious, get ready for this game. We literally have a backup quarterback who probably would be like a quarterback 3 for most teams, going against one of the best defenses in football. Not going to be good. It's not going to be a good game. But yeah, I like money, and money is always to be made. Before we get into the game, let's talk about this weekend. At the DFS headquarters, we fucking smashed. Made a lot of money. I made a lot of money. I know a lot of guys make some good change too. We got this, man. Just because the football season is ending, next week's the last final week, we still got preseason, we still got Super Bowl shit, and we still got money to be made no matter what it is. And then tomorrow we got NBA that's back, and you got Kyle and Nick and Snoop are ready to drop fucking bombs for us, and we're about to make a lot of money again. So again, if you have not signed up for DFS headquarters, I really don't know what you're doing. We're literally the cheapest in the industry. We have the best minds in the industry, and we're ready to feed you. I know I like money. I know the coaches like money. I know the people in there already like money. So if you like money, you need to join. So hit up the DFS headquarters. One of the guys will let you in. Or you hit me up and I'll get you in. So anyways, this weekend was good, right? My best lineup had Jalen Hurts, and it looks like that was the optimal play. I was really tilted for a while because I had literally nobody likes you, Mike. Fuck out of here, boy. No, I'm just kidding. Mike, of course, is always making that fucking bread, always making me look silly. But yeah, so anyway, so this weekend was pretty good. You got, help my brother. Yeah, I know, but he needs a lot of help, doesn't he? He's a little crazy up there. But anyways, it was a good weekend. I was really tilted for a while because I had Terry McLaurin. As you know, Haskins is fucking trash. But game script definitely helped him out at the very end, and all my McKissick and McLaurin lineups ended up being really successful. I'm really happy that I didn't fade Fournette too. I was hearing a lot of chatter about he's the fade of the week. I was really under the field because I just don't trust the Buccaneers, but the lineups that I did have Fournette did really well, so that was nice to have. And then also the no-brainer play, Pollard, right? When Zeke was out, regardless of what the matchup is, you just lock in Pollard. I mean, Pollard is actually really fucking legit. He's really good at what he does, and he went off. So my best lineup had, let's talk about it. It had Hurts, McKissick, Pollard, Ayuk, the guys that did what they needed to do. I ended up doing pretty well. I profited probably about, $600 yesterday. It was a pretty good day. I smashed in the showdowns too, but last night's showdown, no, I didn't do very well. It was just a shit game, and I overthought it a little bit. One of the Huey in the chat was like, "Frank, don't forget about Higgins," and I was like, "Nah, Higgins is fucking atrocious." But he ended up in the optimal, obviously because the game was fucking shit. I mean. But still, I overthought that one. But good call on Huey. And Huey smashed yesterday, too, like he always does. But, yeah. So, anyways, we got a game to talk about today. I think it's pretty straightforward, in my opinion. I'm not going to overthink it. Don't let these other people put some shit in your head thinking that this is going to be a competitive game, because it's not. No, it's not. But we're going to talk about the plays. We're going to talk about who I like. And I'm going to give you my rankings and so on and so forth. So let's do it. So right now, we have Steelers at Bengals. Steelers have a 27.25 over-under, and the Bengals are at 13.25 team total. That's 13 points for the Bengals. 13 fucking points. It's going to be a shit show, and I think Vegas is really prepared for that. So let's break it down. So I'm going to talk about the Steelers first. We're going to talk about the running back situation for the Steelers. It's pretty important. So Bengals run D, 18th in DVOA, 27th in yards per carry. They're not great at all on stopping the run. I mean, they're not the worst in the league, but they're not great. So with the uncertainty of James Conner, which we're going to talk about right now, I think he's firmly in play. Let's talk about him. So James Conner's coming into this game questionable with a quad injury. He was limited practice the last 2 days, so my assumption, I haven't looked just yet again this morning, that he's going to play today. He's going to be playing in a scenario where, the Steelers are 2 touchdown favorites, and we like to play running backs in those type of situations. Now, there's some issues with the running back situation in Pittsburgh. Number one, James Conner's production has declined tremendously. It seems like the Steelers are kind of doing what Seattle's doing and allowing Big Ben to just throw. Just let Big Ben do what he does and throw the ball. Now, I could think of different reasons why they're doing that. I mean, there's some logical reasons. Number one, they have, I think, one of the best 3 wide receiver set in football. You have Juju, you have Claypool, and you have Deontay Johnson. I think that's clearly one of the best trios. And then you have James Washington, who isn't that bad of a rotational wide receiver at all either. So why, I think they just really want to use their quarterback to feed those wide receivers. Now, for James Conner, I think they're really declining, his production and his usage is because that O-line is not as good as what many people think. They're really struggling to block. And if their O-line is not blocking, is not giving any space for running backs, then running backs really can't do shit. So I think that's really a big reason why we're seeing a huge decline in James Conner. I don't think he's not talented. I don't think he's not a good running back. He's just in a kind of a situation where they're not really using him, and for good reason. So when it comes to James Conner, his overall price in this matchup is absolutely amazing. He's not priced as a bell cow because he doesn't get 18 to 20 carries like most bell cows will do. So I think his price is just perfect. I think that he's in a primetime spot where, the Steelers are going to be their favorite by 2 touchdowns. So I think he's in a smash spot tonight. It does bring some uncertainty with the work that he's getting. But I think if this game gets really out of control, why would you not, try to get your running back going, before the playoffs start? So, I am really unsure about James Conner. I am not entirely sure if he's just 100% healthy or maybe they're just holding him back. But James Conner is literally going against a Bengals defense who's given up 10-plus fantasy points the last 4 to 5 weeks to running backs. So it's a hard fade for me. Again, I don't plan on being super heavy on him, but I do plan on having quite a bit of exposure in tournaments because I think some people, you like it? Neat, dude. Neat. I like it. Yeah, White got it for me. It's nice. It's the California weather, man. We don't like the cold. It's only 65 degrees outside. But yeah, I like James Conner. I think he's okay for cash. I don't love it for cash, but I think if you are kind of around that area, I think he's a perfect plug-in play. I think 8 to 10 points is not out of the realm for him tonight. And let's hope that he can score. So yeah, definitely don't overthink James Conner. Yeah, he's really cheap too, so I love it. Okay, so again, I still haven't been able to check if James Conner is going to be limited or going to be out. I think that's something we're going to have to wait. That's summer weather. Dude, don't make fun of me. Don't make fun of me. It's us California people don't know what it means to be cold. What's snow? I've never even seen snow. I don't know what that is. But yeah. But anyways, let's just say, for example, we get close to game time and James Conner we end up getting news that James Conner is going to be limited or he might just be out. Then I think for that example, I think Benny Snell is perfectly in play. As of now, I don't have any. If you want to do the guy that won $500,000 in play, he played Marcus Mariota as his quarterback, captain fucking play because he could tell the future. Benny Snell may not be the worst decision because, I mean, James Conner is known for getting hurt. But overall, I don't see me going there. I don't even see me really playing him as a flex. I just don't see the reason to go there. I don't see it. So Benny Snell right now would just be nothing more than like a deep tournament option, or just, you know, if you want to throw $20 down and pray to God Conner gets hurt, fine, do it. But I don't see myself going there. The next running back we'll talk about on the Steelers is Jalen Samuels. He's back from his injury again. Another guy that I don't see myself having much of or any of. Jalen Samuels is purely just a passing down back. And then again, you know, there is absolutely no way that the Steelers shit the bed today, right? But if you think, for example, Finley's going to come out here and shit on this Steelers defense and it's just going to be a disaster day, then Samuels is in play because he's going to get fed those dump passes all day. But I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. I mean, it's Ryan Finley, guys. Like, who? And it's the struggling Bengals defense, or Bengals offense. So, again, Jalen Samuel probably have none. But I guess if you're running like 150, there's, you know, why not have a tad bit of exposure? But overall, I don't know. So the only running back I'm really going to be touching in this situation is James Conner, and that's pretty straightforward. He's cheap. He's really cheap. The volume is very inconsistent, but we're talking about game script in his favor, or in his favor. So that's the only reason why I'm on James Conner. But again, it's a risky situation. Do I think he's fine for cash? I think he's okay for cash. As of right now, I'm kind of 50-50 about it. But I mean, he's cheap and he's going to get work. He could definitely get some red zone carries. So I think he's cool for cash. I don't really hate that. But yeah, that's the only running back I really be touching for the Steelers. I wouldn't touch the other two. I just wouldn't touch him. So, all right, let's talk about the wide receivers now. The Bengals pass defense is 29th in DVOA and 23rd in yards allowed per pass. Bengals fucking suck. McFarland, good value. Yeah, he's cool. I mean, if you're running a lot, I just, you know, I don't want to play value like that if it's less than 20 lineups, in my opinion. But yeah, that's just how I look at it. But yeah, anyway, so let's talk about the wide receivers in Pittsburgh. Again, Bengals corners and safeties and all that shit, but just bad. They're tanking. Like it's without a doubt they are tanking. They're doing what they're supposed to do, not like the Jets just fucking did and beat the Rams. I'm sorry, like New York, you guys had Lawrence literally like ready for you. Ready. Like, you know, your quarterback of the future. The quarterback that could change your organization forever, right? And they fucking won a game. Like, I get it. You don't play to lose, but in this situation, what the fuck are you doing? So, anyways, I firmly believe that the Bengals are just tanking. They're just shit. And we're gonna talk about why I believe that later when we talk about the Bengals, but yeah, I think it's bad. But anyways, let's talk about Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson. This man is an absolute machine, right? He has potential to be a top 10 wide receiver, maybe even a top 8, top 6. I think Deontay Johnson has shown a tremendous amount of upside this season with Big Ben. I think he's better than Juju Schuster, in my opinion. That's just how I look at it. Deontay Johnson's getting like 10 plus targets a game. He's a freak athlete. But was it last week? Yeah. So last week, you really saw where he's struggling right now. He is dropping everything. Literally cannot catch a fucking pass. So at one point last week, he was actually benched because of the drop passes. So I'm curious, though, like, you know, the matchup itself today, he's going to be going against, what did I write down? I wrote is William Jackson, who really isn't awful off the, you know, if you're looking at the ratings. So, I mean, he could definitely give Deontay some type of pressure, but it's a scary situation knowing that, like, the Steelers are ready to bench him if he continues to drop passes. But regardless, we're talking about Deontay Johnson, who is a freak athlete, who has I think the highest ceiling on the slate, could easily just break it. But if you're telling me that Deontay Johnson is going to continue to get 10 plus targets, he's going to continue to get work against his awful defense, even if William Jackson is going to be covering him for most of the time, I still like him. And I'm really curious, though, if, like, the box score watchers are going to look at Deontay Johnson and go, oh, I don't want to play him. He did shit. So I'm really going to be looking at his ownership. As of now, I like another wide receiver a little bit more. But unless I see some ownership that's saying, like, Deontay Johnson is going to be the lowest owned out of the trio, then fuck, we're going to go all in on Deontay Johnson, right? Because that's just stupid to me. So as of right now, I do really, really, really like Deontay Johnson. I will probably have a lot of him. They're just, another wide receiver who I like more in GPPs, and I think that he could definitely give you, high upside, high everything that you need, just like Deontay Johnson at a cheaper price. So as of right now, Deontay Johnson is playable in all formats, in my opinion. Don't let the drops fool you. He has huge ceiling, huge upside, but depends on how you want to do it. That's a hipster hat if I've ever seen one. All right, Boomer. You need to go get your fucking senior discount from Sizzler. Fucking out of here. Get out of here, boy. Anyways, so. All right, the next play I'll talk about, Juju Smith-Schuster, right? Now, we know he's good. We know Juju smashes. He played every single snap. He's on the field every snap. He's going against Mackenzie Alexander, who is bad. Now, the only issue that I have with Juju Schuster is this. He's a low yard type guy. He's purely for volume. So we're going to kind of hope that he gets us 6 to 8 targets, right? No problem. And we're also really going to hope that he scores, which is possible. I mean, he just went off against him week 10, put up 20-plus DK points. So we know that he can do it. So I like Juju. I mean, the matchup is great. Just understand, the pros and cons that come with him. Low volume, needs a touchdown. There's, Deontay Johnson and Claypool running around him too, so they're going to get plenty of looks. Game script will not be in his favor. It's just a lot of, what ifs, I guess. But regardless, I think Juju is absolutely in play, and I wouldn't think twice about it. So yeah, love Juju today. Don't overthink it. Now, the next two guys I really like, and I know you guys can guess who they are. I think they're going to go way overlooked. The first guy I'll talk about, and Nick was talking about it today in Slack, Chase Claypool. If you go off the ratings of like quarterback rankings, or whatever you guys want to do, how you build your stuff, Claypool has the best matchup on the Steelers. The best. Like by far the best matchup on the Steelers. He's going to be going against LaShawn Sims. Who, again, well, you can guess what I'm going to say. Not good. He's actually really bad. Claypool also smashed with Juju week 10. He put up 21 DK points. So he definitely has the high ceiling in that situation. Now, the only reason why I think he might be lower owned than what people are thinking is because he's not playing every snap. He's been losing snaps to James Washington for some reason, but he is losing snaps. I don't really care. I think in GPPs, I will probably have more Claypool than any other wide receiver on the Steelers, because I just think that he'll be the lowest owned out of the trio, and I think he still brings a huge ceiling to this matchup. I mean, it's literally the best cornerback matchup on the team right now. Like, LaShawn Sims sucks. Like, just bad. He can't do it. So I love Claypool. Like, Claypool might be my favorite tonight. My favorite wide receiver tonight. So I will be literally probably over the field on Claypool for sure. I love Claypool. Now, James Washington. So last week when Deontay Johnson was benched, James Washington came in and he played about 80% of the snaps. He caught, I believe it was 3 out of 6 targets, which is like shit. I mean, another guy who can't catch shit, I guess. But he also scored a touchdown. My firm belief is that if Claypool continues to lose his snaps like he has been to James Washington, that it would just be like a rotational situation, right? So Claypool plays, takes him out, boom, James Washington, same fucking spot, still going against LaShawn Sims, and the matchup is still legit for him as well. So I definitely could see some hedge lineups mean, you could get off Claypool and go with, Washington, or even just stack the two and fade the chalk. I mean, that could definitely be a great way to be different in huge tournaments. I love James Washington a lot too. I think he has his floor is a little bit scary because we don't really know how many snaps he's actually going to get or what's going to happen. But I think he has a great ceiling for his price, and I want a lot. I want a lot. So, if I had to rank these wide receivers from, my favorite to, obviously I like them all. But from a GPP standpoint and how I like to play, and I'll do both. Let's do this. So from a GPP standpoint, if I was going to rate these wide receivers, obviously my number one pick would be Claypool. I think, he's risky too. I get it. But I think his ceiling is humongous in this game. I love Claypool. The second wide receiver would be Deontay Johnson. I know the matchup isn't great on paper, but it's Deontay Johnson. He's a fucking freak. I think Washington would be next because of ownership. And obviously Juju would be last. Not saying that Juju is not a good play in GPPs. I'm just trying to think of ownership-wise. So that's how I'd rank my four wide receivers in GPPs for the Steelers. Now for cash, I think the safest play on the team is Juju, and I think his price is great for that. I would probably go Juju, then I'd go Deontay, Claypool, James Washington. So just like a backwards type thing. So that's kind of how I'm looking at the wide receivers. I will have a lot, guys. Don't overthink it. Yes, you can play two together. You can even play three together if you want. Make sure you stack them with Big Ben. But I think like 5x1 onslaught side of the Steelers is not out of the question. Not out of the question. So, all right, we're almost done. The next Steeler I'll talk about is Eric Ebron. Dude can't catch that either. Dropping all the balls. But they're not benching him. They're not taking away his snaps. He's going to be on the field just about every snap. So he's definitely in play, without a doubt. The matchup is solid, and I think he's a solid mid-range play. So if you have Ebron amount of money left and you're trying to decide where you want to go with it, I think Ebron is totally fine. I even think that including him in your stacks, instead of like fading the chalk and putting in Ebron instead is not the stupidest idea in tournaments either. I think that will definitely make your lineups different, right? The one thing I did notice about, as showdowns, right? A lot of people have the same lineups as you. So leaving money on the table, being a little bit different is always the way to go. So definitely think about, creating different types of stacks for this game tonight. So yeah, definitely Ebron's in play. It's not my favorite. And then you have Ray McLeod and Vance McDonald. In my opinion, nothing more than MME punts. Scary floor for both. I mean, literally zero force. Like, they could both end up with a zero. So just be fully aware of that. I would definitely only play them if I'm playing like 150 max and want a little bit of exposure. But yeah, so that's how I'm looking at the rest of those guys. All right. So what I'm trying to tell you is play all the Steelers. Play them all. So mix and match them. Do what you got to do. Play them all. I will honestly probably make a captain lineup for all of them and see if one hits, because I think one's going to hit. So that's how I look at the Steelers. Now, let's talk about these Bengals. Holy shit. Talk about the running backs. This is where the shit gets weird. Right now, Steelers' run D is third in DVOA and sixth in yards per carry. So they are stout. Like stout. You can't run on the Steelers. You just can't run on them. And the sad part is that I probably wouldn't touch any of the running backs, but I'll tell you why. But game theory, game script is absolutely not going to be in their favor. So let's talk about Gio Bernard first. All right. This is how I know the Bengals are tanking. Okay. Last week, Gio fumbled for the first time since 2013. For the first time, right? And what did the Bengals fucking do? They benched him. They benched Gio Bernard. And you would think, all right, well, they're going to bring in, what's his name, Samaje Perine, as I say his name right? Probably didn't. No, they didn't bring in their running back 2. They brought in their running back 3. They brought in Travion Williams. And guess what? Travion Williams fumbled earlier in that game and was benched as well. So they brought in Travion Williams, and he got the work over Gio. So, do I know why they did this? Not really. Can I take a wild guess of why they did it? They're fucking tanking. They're doing what bad teams are supposed to do right now: lose games. Higher draft picks. Be smart about it. They are being smart about it. So, Gio Bernard is literally risky as shit. If he ends up starting, which I think he should, and I think we need to pay attention to beat writers about that. I think Gio Bernard can literally get passes all game from Finley. I mean, a little dump passes from backup quarterback is always important, especially in PPR formats. But he's risky. I wouldn't touch him in cash. Wouldn't touch him in cash. And I'm going to be like probably really low on him in tournaments too. I just don't like him today, and I don't see the upside. I just don't see it. But if with my mindset, that means he's not going to be owned. So I get it. You're running 150, do it. Or you can be crazy like Huey, who literally will tell me that all these, I tell him that play is fucking awful, and he goes, "Oh, perfect GPP play then, right?" And he smashes. So, I think I probably have 10% tonight. 10%. That's my guess. Maybe 0. And I'll let you guys know in Discord how I'm really feeling about him, but it's not good. And then you have, obviously I've already mentioned the two other running backs, Perrine and Trevion Williams. I don't know. My guess is that they're trying to give Trevion more carries. My guess is that they want to see what he can do to end the season. Is he worth it? Do they need to draft a running back? Najee Harris is coming, guys. Could you imagine Najee Harris? Do they move on from Joe Mixon? What do they do? I really don't know. Honestly, fuck. Wouldn't you want Najee Harris over Joe Mixon? Is that weird? I love Joe. And he's another Bay Area cat. Najee Harris is from my hometown, so I'm a little bit of a groupie hoe for him. But you know what I mean? So I don't know what to do about the running back situation. I have no idea. I just think that's something that we're going to have to pay attention to the beat writers about and see what they're saying. But as of right now, all risky as shit. Gio would be the safest if you wanted to go that route, I would say, but still a risky situation and a shitty matchup. So if you're feeling crazy, go for it, but no thanks. All right, let's talk about the wide receivers now. Steelers pass D's first in DVOA and second in yards per pass. They're good. Holy shit. Are we going to talk about them? They're good. We have Finley starting as the quarterback against one of the best defenses in the league. Vegas has them only, 13 points. Oh, my God. So when we talk about these wide receivers, we need to just, understand purely based off the PPR format, some of these guys make sense. You have to play at least one, right? So we're talking about a team that's going to be playing from behind. And what, I keep thinking like this too, what if the Steelers are just up by 3 or 4 touchdowns? They just fucking come out and just demolish. Maybe they start sitting some people and start playing some backups. It's possible. It's always possible. We're getting to the end of the season where things like that could happen. So let's talk about the first wide receiver. And this is the one I think is the safest. Tyler Boyd. Boyd has the best matchup on the Bengals versus Mike Hilton, who still is pretty good. The matchup isn't great, but what really interests me about Tyler Boyd is his PPR upside. I'm going to guess he's going to get targeted 6 to 8 times. I can't tell you how many catches he's going to get, but he's going to get the targets. Without a doubt, he'll get fed. But again, tough matchups. He might catch 4 out of 8 targets and for 30 yards, which sucks. But again, I think he's gonna get fed, and he does have the best matchup overall for the Bengals. So I really like Tyler Boyd. I think that's where I'm gonna be leaning the most for my Bengal exposure. Would be Tyler Boyd. So I like him for the Bengals. The next guy I think will bring a lot of chalk, and that's T. Higgins. Again, T. Higgins has the worst matchup for the Bengals. The worst. He's talented. I get it. He's getting volume. He got 7 targets the other week, 8 targets last week. He's getting work. But the matchup is fucking bad. It's just bad. T. Higgins is slated to line up against Joe Hayden, who has been, stout. He's just been really good. I could see Joe Hayden getting on some Tyler Boyd today that could open up some exposure for Higgins. So I guess, if you really wanted to look at, okay, what wide receivers would I feel most confident about? It would obviously just be Boyd and then Higgins. And obviously, how I feel about Higgins. I just see a down game from him. But I mean, if he's going to get 6 to 8 targets, it can be like a Higgins game like yesterday. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So I prefer Boyd. Higgins is fine. The next guy, I don't think I'm going to have any. AJ Green. He's going to see Steve Nelson, who also pretty good. Green's targets are super inconsistent. Sometimes he gets like 3 targets. Sometimes he gets like 11. Sometimes he gets like 4. Depends. It really fucking depends. I still am really curious why the Bengals decided to keep AJ Green. Don't know why they did. AJ Green doesn't want to be there. But again, AJ Green is in a shit situation, playing for a team he doesn't give 2 fucks about. If the Bengals end up being down by 3 or 4 touchdowns, I could just see AJ Green going, I don't fucking care, and just blah, right? So if I have any AJ Green, it'll probably be like 2 lineups. And I'm going to be really under the field. And if he fucks me over, it is what it is. At least I have some exposure. But I don't really like AJ Green tonight. I don't think that's the guy you should be targeting. They're going to be really trying to push the young guys out because that's what the future is. So wide receiver-wise, my rankings would be pretty simple for the Bengals. Boyd, Higgins, Green. Pretty simple. So that's how I look at that. Now the tight end. I think this guy could be some nice value that we need, right? Drew Sample should see plenty of targets. I always like to play tight ends when a backup quarterback is playing or just a bad quarterback because they like the short passes, they like the short targets. So I can see Finley getting fed quite often, especially if those wide receivers struggle to do anything. I can see Finley getting fed. So, 5 to 6 targets didn't seem out of the realm for me, and I think that's really great for Drew Sample. Honestly, I feel like I'm honestly feeling like I like Drew Sample more than I like AJ Green. I know that's crazy, but I think that's how I'm looking at today. I think AJ Green is a bad play today. I just don't see it. I don't like it, but it is what it is. So I do like Drew Sample. So again, if I had to rank them one more time, Boyd, Higgins, Sample, Green, how I'm looking at it. But be fully aware that the Bengals is going to be a fucking awful game. It's going to be bad. So Connor is out. Holy shit. All right. So Connor out. Benny Snell, lock. Don't even know what to think. Lock. He is, I believe you're the same price as Connor, but I like Benny Snell more anyways, right? So I wouldn't say he's a lock. I would say he's an amazing player because I don't know. I just how I look at it. But Connor out, god damn. So, man, that's interesting. I like Benny Snell. I mean, I like Connor, but I like Benny Snell. I think you could definitely have quite a bit of Benny Snell today. I like him a lot. So, Benny Snell, don't overthink that either. Love it. Thanks for letting me know, Snoop. Wow. It does make sense, though, right? Bengals fucking suck. Why push your running back in a situation where they probably won't need him against a team who don't give a shit, and you're already playoff bound? So it does make sense. It does. So I do think that gives Jalen Samuel some, extra love because, I think he could get a few carries, right? He's going to get backup running back carries now. So I don't think Jalen Samuels is an awful value play either. So I like those running backs. I think Connor out definitely boost them up for me. So, wow, that's fucking crazy. Wow. All right. Okay. Now, I don't really. Do we need to talk about quarterbacks? Talk about quarterbacks. Big Ben playing. I'll probably just lock him in. I might have like a couple ownership, captain ownership, but lock him in. Don't overthink it. Now Finley, I don't think he's a must in cash. No, I think he has like Colt McCoy upside, and you don't need that. If you do get some Finley, cool, but I wouldn't force him. I wouldn't force him in your lineups. I also believe that tonight Pittsburgh's defense is in play. And I normally hate playing defenses because they're just it's difficult sometimes. And some of them are really just like overpriced. But tonight I could see literally Pittsburgh shutting out the Bengals. Like the Bengals not scoring anything. I could see that. In that situation, better have Pittsburgh defense. I'm pretty sure they're pretty expensive too, but guys, it's a backup quarterback who was playing against one of the best defenses in the league. If you want to see a pick six, please watch the game tonight. So, I always would say that defenses normally are never optimized captain plays, never ever. But tonight could be different. So I really like Pittsburgh defense too. Again, Big Ben, lock for you. No problem. Just call me Chef G. All right. I like it. So I like Pittsburgh defense. I will probably be really low on Finley. I'm just going to lock in Big Ben and call it a day. I think your Bills could be anywhere from a 5-by-1 onslaught. Pittsburgh. Just play all Pittsburgh you want. But I think if you do that, I think I would want some Pittsburgh defense in that onslaught as well. Like get some Pittsburgh defense low. And I think if you're running Pittsburgh defense lineups, I think you really want a running back in there too. So like Snell would be perfect. So, wow, that Connor news. Fuck. All right. So let's talk about my cash player pool. Big Ben, Schuster. It was Connor, but now he's not playing. So Snell, great. Ebron's fine. Boswell's good. If you were playing any Bengals, I don't think any Bengals are safe for cash really. But if you're playing any Bengal, I think Tyler Boyd's fine. I think Gio is okay if you needed to get there, but I would prefer Tyler Boyd. So that is my cash pool. I'm just going to build around that. Not for tournaments. And this is purely based when I talk about my tournament pool, just what the captain plays that I like. And I'm ranking them in order. My number one captain play in tournaments today, Claypool. Love Claypool. I think he's a smash spot. I don't think he'll be the highest owned guy either. So I love Claypool as my number one captain tournament play. My number two, Deontay Johnson. High upside, high ceiling. Just been playing like shit the last couple of weeks. It's fine. Perfect for tournaments. Love him today. Definitely a wake-up spot for Deontay. Love Deontay. Number three, it was Connor, but now that he's out. So I think that's Snell's fine. I think Snell can even be a captain play for you. So I like Snell. Tyler Boyd, if you play Tyler Boyd as your captain, please make sure that you also are playing Finley. Okay? That would be the only time that I would really want to make sure that I'm locking in the Bengals quarterback is if I'm captaining Boyd or the next guy I'm going to mention is Higgins. If you're playing one of those two guys in your captain spot, please make sure you lock in Finley. Make sure you do that. But that's, or if you want to get crazy, you can, play one of the Bengals running backs, but you better make sure that you are paying attention to Twitter and seeing what the beat writers are saying. So, yeah. So, tonight's game, I think it's going to be ugly, guys. But I think you guys are kind of understanding where I'm going today. All right. So, if you're not part of the Discord, I really think you need to get in there. I'm going to be dropping some more hints later on. Again, we have basketball coming back tomorrow. I believe Kyle's doing the sheet tomorrow. Kyle's going to be doing the sheet, and he's fucking legit at basketball too. We've been smashing. We smashed preseason. Now we're moving on to NBA. We're ready to make some real fucking money. So make sure you sign up at DFS headquarters. Hit up Snoop. Hit up Nick. Hit up Kyle. DFS headquarters on Twitter. Get you in there. All right. If you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter name is on the screen, Digo07, or just hit up DFS headquarters and send a message my way. All right. I hope you guys make some money tonight. And I will see you guys at the top.